In this morning's A Veteran's Voice, we turn the spotlight on a man who was pursuing a career in theater and television when a twist of fate landed him in the jungles of Vietnam. Jim Hackett enlisted in the Marine Corps, and you might say that he's still wound up working on a major production starring the North Vietnamese.
Yeah,
how many clicks to downtown?
Well, it's probably 7 or 8 clicks.
7 or 8 clicks. Yeah. Okay, good. Just in case I have to hike that way.
Jim Hackett and his wife Jill live the quiet life in the hills overlooking Pine Mountain Club, a far cry from his childhood outside New York City. The son of a Marine who enlisted after Pearl Harbor and fought his way through the Pacific. Jim Hackett had his sights set on a different theater when his girlfriend left and the war in Vietnam was ramping up.
And so I went to my father and I said, "Hey, Dad, you know, it looks like I can get drafted. I don't want to go in the Army." And he says, "Well, you're going to have to go in somewhere. You know, go in the Navy, go in the Air Force. You'd never make it as a Marine."
Never one to back down from a challenge, Jim enlisted in the Corps and was sent to boot camp at Parris Island.
My father taught me how to shoot his rifle. He brought back a M1 Garand from World War II. So I wound up shooting top shooter in my platoon. And
But he soon learned that he was destined for something else.
What's a 5900? He had to look it up. Electronics. Electronics? You're supposed to go to Vietnam and kill commies, for Christ. Come on, you know, what's the matter with you?
And he would excel at that too. Jim was assigned to a secret school teaching new technology, people finding radar, reportedly able to locate the enemy 200 to 300 feet away. Unfortunately, that put him right in the middle of the action.
We would go to places that the enemy was attacking or, shooting at us or trying to get through our perimeter.
His team was deployed to numerous hotspots, resulting in 2 Purple Hearts.
With our radar systems, we were generally on the edge of our perimeters, so the enemy knew we were there. Had some pretty bad experiences because they wanted to take us out.
Jim actually wrote a scathing report about the device and said it was soon after the Marine Corps stopped using it. He extended his stay in Vietnam twice. When he finally came home, he said low morale in country and the sentiment at home left him feeling alone, an emotion his father understood.
He said, "No, so you're home?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "You want a beer?" I go, "Yeah, okay." Drank our beer, didn't say a word, didn't talk about it. He knew.
Jim says he never talked about his experience. Instead, he turned his attention back to acting. Some work on stage and commercials led to a spot on the popular ABC sitcom 8 is Enough, his first big break and his first big blooper opposite Dick Van Patten.
And it was time for me to turn around and go out through the door. So I turn around and open the door and I walk into the closet. So the whole crew just cracks up and laughs. And I realized what I did. I figured I'm going to get fired.
But he wasn't fired. The show was actually canceled. But he continued working until the roles dried up.
The first step is who's Jim Hackett? The second step is get me Jim Hackett. And the third step is get me a young Jim Hackett. And the fourth step in an actor's life is who's Jim Hackett?
But it was during this time his military career was suddenly revived during an audition and a chance meeting with another grunt.
The guy behind the camera says, "Were you in the Marine Corps?" And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'm Paul Grimm." I went, "Paul Grimm? Here's a guy I spent 7 months with in Vietnam. I didn't recognize him. Long hair, beard, what have you." We sat there and we looked at each other, we grabbed a hold of each other, we hugged each other, and I started to cry. I just lost it right there. And I'm starting to tear up now thinking about this. And we had this wonderful, wonderful moment. This correlates with the ribbon that they wear.
In the last few years, Jim went on the honor flight and was also part of a group called the Greatest Generation that took him back to Vietnam and the place where he earned one of those Purple Hearts.
Standing on the actual place where all these bad things happened caused me to feel that I had a sense of closure. I said, "Well, I'm done. I finally come to terms with this."
His happy place these days are in the quiet serenity of the PMC. He still keeps some mementos from his time in Vietnam and said even today, if the Corps came knocking, he'd answer the call.
Now, Jim later started a computer leasing company that had many clients, including the Jet Propulsion Laboratories. He also has high praise for the Bakersfield VA clinic, where he has volunteered in the past. Now, if you know of someone we should feature on A Veteran's Voice, send me your nominations to mike@kero.com.